Well, the Chinese elves have delivered the Chinese Santa parcel. Let's see what we got. Well, it's a Chinese takeaway tonight. I'm not sure it's all railway-ish related, but we'll have a look and see what they say they've sent me and what I've actually got arrive. So it is pretty much all basically railway related. To give you an idea, you can see it against my finger. That is a Stay Alive, direct from Lay's DCC. 60 should be 60 in there. I'm yet to count them, but they normally come in packs of 20, which is what I ordered. £4.62. So there's a good few LEDs to keep me going there. And pan across here, I've got two more of those holders. This is one of those, well, we used to use it years ago, use them for battery top-ups on your motorcycle batteries and car batteries, but the tattoo industry tend to use them as a flush bowl. I've got a 500mm one here for hopefully PVA maybe, for doing the old tracks and dribbling out along. It was only a few pounds, not much at all. The chip I was on about, the little module, which just needs the button pads or some triggering device to do the audio recordings. I think that's what it does. This is a gimmicky little sort of light effect unit. Don't know how effective it will be. It wasn't a lot of money, so it's no great tragedy if it's crap. But it's to give lighting effects, basically, to change the atmosphere of the railway at different times. Something I've thought about for, well, quite a while before I was YouTubing anyway. One of the ideas to create a bit more atmosphere. And carrying on with that theme, I purchased two of these remote control RGB LED lamp. These are 10-metre reels. They work via a phone app or the remote, but they were £7, £7.60. I ordered two. 3 guesses where I've been shopping. There's a few there. Hunting down some more bargains. Right, this came up. It's the 2-gate crossing with sound. It'll work basically anywhere, US, Europe, UK. It's preloaded with the various sounds of whatever country you come from, and you just set it up to go. The servos operate obviously grade crossings, barriers, however you sort of engineer your own method to work it. The difference being there is a 4-barrier controller as well, which is about £15 more. From what I can see, the only difference is it comes with another pair of servos and 2 splitter leads, which I already happen to have all that, so either one came up. These are, I think, £49, £59. I managed to get this for about £23. Also came up with a DCC shuttle. I haven't really read into this much. I only bought it because it was so ridiculously cheap it was worth buying. I'm looking at building a DC variant, and as I may have said in a previous video, of using some of my DC stock on a loop, on a shuttle. So it may or may not get used. It's there if I have an idea, basically, of a separate line or an additional line that can run, say, the DCC DMU on a separate line, on or a cool train, goods train. It could be anything, up to your imagination. So I think that was about £10, which is a good price versus the RRP. Well, this looks quite colourful, doesn't it? Not my preferred method of packaging. Certainly, if I send anything, I wouldn't even dream of wrapping it in bubble wrap and brown paper and hoping for the best with Royal Mail or anyone else. You've got to pack for the worst and hope for the best. CN Canadian National looks like it has survived, I guess. I think nothing left in the packaging anyway. So we've got a Arctic trailer, as we call them, or a semi as they say over the pond, on a flatbed. Bit unusual. I think it's one of the sellers I've been buying US rolling stock off, and there was a couple of other bits, but I got nobbled on them, and eBay have decided to change the way you bid now. If sometimes you seem to bid and then they are asking for an additional confirmation and giving you an option box of putting a bid in that they're recommending, not the one you've just written down, and by the time you read all this and piss about, the auction's ended. Well done, eBay. Well, the next thing is a British semi, Jack Richardson Fakenham, or Fakenham as we call it, local haul here. I think you've seen one of these before that I picked up. This one's still in the box. Unfortunately, it looks like the detailing part has come off, which looks like probably the air stack, I think, on the back of the truck. I'll have to investigate. Doesn't look like anything too major, but these are, I think, a limited edition. There doesn't look to be any paperwork in it though. It would have been down there unless it's moved, but we'll have a look off camera. So yeah. Okay, next one. Is it a Bachmann? It is a Bachmann. I took advantage of the 20% discount code. Wasn't round to Sheffield though. So what we got was another VGA van, graffiti rail freight one. They seem to go for a bit more money just because of the graffiti. Didn't, well, these ones were about the same price, but got 20% off. So it was neither here nor there really. More than I wanted to pay, but they're just not about for the sort of money. So I'm not buying too many of them unless they come up the right money, which they don't. Which sounds a bit contradicting in terms, but because of the discount it was bearable basically. But I tend to go for these like other items where they're in job lots and not necessarily identified for their single value, and go overlooked. And Americana back again, over the pond, Tropicana. Freight cars. These, as you can see, aren't broken. These are the kit, handmade kits. They were, for some reason, no boxes. I think with the discount they worked out at about £16, so £8 each, less than $20 I guess at the minute. I don't know whose kit they are, whether they're a Roundhouse or Wolfers. 50-foot box car. I was after the sort of more current white ones, but they don't seem to be any over here. There was one I was watching and it's not been relisted for about 3 weeks, so this one looks to be fairly straightforward basic kit. Doesn't look like they supply any metal weight for these ones, but not an issue. So yeah, just a brake underbody detail, glue it onto the base and away you go. The centre return spring, a little clip like the other ones I've got. Still haven't found those. Yeah, so a couple of those to the collection. And some good old Wheels brick sheets. We've got the straight bond and an English bond, a couple of sheets there, so it's 5, so there's a pack's worth there, just over a pack, and an absolute load of roofing sheet or sidewall, depending on how you want to use it. Also, it's the same cladding material on walls as roofing, depending on the building structure, but could do with a few full-size sheets of that for the real world to do my garage roof. So, staying with the plastic theme, now I've turned this upside down so you don't see all of my address. We'll see what has come from China. Is it still in one piece? Well, I've put my hand there for obvious reasons. There's two labels, both with my address on, but this is sort of like, I believe, the outer original packaging that they posted it in. It's then been rebagged, possibly at the mail sorting centre in China. I thought it might have been wrapped in cardboard to save it, because a few other listings of the same product have had damage because it's a vac formed roofing tile, which I have bought before, but it's not fared too well. It looks like it's sailed across the bloody sea. Well, hopefully it's coming out okay on the camera. Can't see very well on the screen, but other than that little mark down there on each one where it's been creased slightly, they've survived pretty well. They are pretty basic. They are only a vac formed sheet, very thin. They have to be successfully vac formed, but you have to trim all the edging off because obviously it's done on a overlaid, sucked down on a mould basically. But the nice thing with this, as long as you get a nice straight cut down the edge, you can overlay another sheet and it's a fairly good concealment. When you want to extend the width, it would be nice if they'd done the sheets landscape style and then done the vertical tiling so you could go for length rather than height. But they came in sub £5. There's 5 sheets, so you know, 80 something, 90 pence a sheet. And I got them mainly, one, because they're cheap, and it just gives you a bit of variation in roofing material, because we tend to sort of get slaters wheels sort of fairly thick and too small. I mean, the wheels, what, you get 4 of those in a pack, and they're £5, aren't they? And you can look, I've got nearly 4 in this one sheet, plus the extra there for little outhouses and things. So this sort of more mileage. It's not the same quality, but you know, it's a roofing tile after all. It hasn't got to do anything, has it? It's not a structural piece. You could beef this up, gluing it to card or plastic card or strips of timber. But for small buildings that we're sort of coping with generally, there, you know, you're only going, what, you'd probably get 3 depths out of this. You'd probably get two sides of a building and then a half side, or you know, it's adequate and it's cheap, and you know, it's a bit of variation, as we seem to be rather limited with sort of roofing material choices. Everything seems to be slate when you look at someone's model layout, or the options you get when you buy kits, which is why I like the fair price ones, because you can obviously stick on those whatever you like. You can even turn it into a thatch if you wanted to. But yeah, for the money, they're cheap as chips. Well, in fact, the price of bloody chips, they're a lot cheaper.